Welcome to The Explainer. Now, when you think about mining, you probably picture these giant diesel-guzzling machines, right? But what if I told you that one of the world's oldest and toughest industries is in the middle of this quiet, high-tech revolution? Today, we're digging into the massive shift to an all-electric future for mining and why it's a huge deal for all of us. All right, let's get right to it. For decades, this machine, the giant diesel haul truck, has been the absolute workhorse of the mine. It's a mechanical beast, and it's essential for, literally moving mountains. But here's the thing. This symbol of raw power also happens to be the industry's biggest problem. It represents a deep, expensive, and, frankly, dirty addiction to diesel fuel. So to really get why this electric revolution is happening right now, we need to look at the true cost of relying on diesel. And trust me, it's not just about the price you pay at the pump. The problems here run way, way deeper. Just let this number sink in for a second. For a whole lot of mines, up to half of their entire energy budget is just spent on diesel for their vehicles. That's not just some small expense. It's a massive financial gamble on a single, super volatile fossil fuel. And it has this huge domino effect on everything else they do. And here is that domino effect right in action. In underground mines, you've got all these diesel engines just pumping out toxic fumes into a really tight, confined space. So what happens? The mine has to spend an absolute fortune on these massive ventilation systems. We're talking up to a staggering 70% of their operational costs, all just to make the air breathable for the miners. And, this isn't just about money. The human cost here is immense. Constantly being exposed to what's called diesel particulate matter, it's basically the fine soot from the exhaust. Plus, all that intense engine heat, well, it creates serious long-term health risks for miners. It's a fundamental safety hazard that's literally built into the design of a diesel-powered mine. Okay, so if diesel is the big problem, then what's the solution? Well, that's where the all-electric mine comes in. It's a concept that's poised to completely reinvent the industry, from the power source all the way down to the drills. The core idea here is a pretty radical shift in where the energy comes from. Instead of trekking in what seems like endless barrels of diesel, mines are starting to build their own power plants right on site, generating clean electricity by tapping into the solar and wind resources that are all around them. Now, the key piece of tech that makes all of this possible is something called a microgrid. The best way to think of it is like a mine's own private, smart power island. It generates power from solar and wind, it stores that power in batteries, and then it intelligently sends it out where it's needed. This ensures a reliable, constant flow of electricity, even if you're in one of the most remote places on Earth. And this diagram does a great job of showing how it all fits together. You can see the renewable sources, the wind turbines and solar panels feeding power into that microgrid. And from there, the microgrid acts like the central nervous system, smartly sending that power to everything: the crushers, the conveyors, the ventilation, and, most importantly, the charging stations for a whole new fleet of all-electric mining vehicles. It's a complete self-contained system. But is the electric option really that much better? I mean, how does a battery-powered haul truck actually stack up against its old diesel-guzzling ancestor? Let's put them head-to-head in a little diesel versus electric showdown and see what the data says. Okay, the difference here is, well, it's not even close. A diesel engine is incredibly wasteful. It converts most of its fuel into useless heat and only gets about 35% efficiency. An electric motor, on the other hand, is over 95% efficient. On top of that, the electric vehicles are cheaper to maintain, a lot quieter, and, this is the big one, they produce zero toxic emissions on site. And the real-world impact of that efficiency is just staggering. For every single ton of rock they move, electric trucks use only a quarter of the energy that diesel trucks do. This isn't just a tiny improvement. This fundamentally rewrites the entire economic model of mining and just slashes the operation's energy footprint. And hey, remember that massive ventilation cost we talked about a minute ago? Well, by getting rid of the diesel fumes, one Canadian mine showed they could cut the energy they used for ventilation by 40% and for cooling by 30%. I mean, these are absolutely game-changing savings. Of course, a transformation this huge doesn't just happen overnight. Unplugging an entire industry from its main power source is incredibly complex, and there are some pretty significant hurdles on the road ahead. See, unlike a factory with a fixed layout, a mine is a constantly evolving environment. The landscape literally changes day by day. That makes building permanent stuff like charging stations a huge challenge. It also requires a massive upfront investment and, really critically, a whole new workforce with skills in things like electrical engineering, data science, and automation. But even with those hurdles, this isn't just some theory. The future is actually already being built. Let's take a look at some major mining operations that are leading the charge as we speak. So this right here, this is the Escondida mine in Chile, one of the largest copper mines on the entire planet. Its operator, BHP, is in the middle of transitioning the mine's entire power supply to a microgrid that runs on 100% renewable energy, harnessing the powerful sun and wind in that region. And this is a global trend. Half a world away, over in Western Australia, the Agnew gold mine is now powered by a hybrid microgrid of wind, solar, and batteries. This isn't some little pilot program, it's providing the majority of the mine's power right now. And this gets to the real heart of the matter here. Electrification isn't just about swapping diesel for batteries. It's about creating a fully connected, data-rich environment. It's really the foundation for the next big wave of mining innovation. Autonomous vehicles, AI-driven efficiency, and remote operations that are going to make mining safer and more productive than ever before. Which brings us to a final, really powerful paradox. All of our green technology, from electric cars to wind turbines, it all requires vast quantities of minerals like copper and lithium. The great irony is that to build a truly sustainable future, we first have to figure out how to build a truly sustainable mine. And the all-electric mine, well, it might just be the answer.